Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You're listening to the RAP podcast, the Welsh Regional Rugby Appreciation Pod, where we try to cover all the important issues on and off the field in Welsh Regional and National Rugby. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, all of that information is at the end, so you'll just have to bear with us and get to that bit. In the meantime, enjoy this week's show. Hello and welcome to another bonus pod from RAP. Joining me today is Jamie and Carwyn. How are we, gents?
Good, thank you.
In shock.
So, no Reese with us today. Reese can't make it today, but we're going to crack on, and just every now and again, one of us is going to say, did you see that Cardiff against the Sharks game? And then it will feel like Reese is still in the room, and we can just kind of go from there. So, just had the announcement of Gatland's first. Shall I call him Gatland or shall I call him Garland, Jane? Which do you feel more comfortable with?
I quite like the Garland reference. I mean, that's a very Welsh Twitter, Facebook typo, isn't it? Warren Garland. So I've had a quick look at the squad. What do you make of it, gents?
Well, I mean, there's obviously some shock omissions there, aren't there? You know, Morgan Morrison, Nicky Smith from the Ospreys, to name a couple. Ross Moriarty as well. I'm very surprised he didn't get sort of called up there. I know there's only I think a few Scarlets players in there. 6 Blues. My prediction of 14 Ospreys came true, which has taken nearly our whole team away. And you know, when we've got games coming up such as Munster, Benetton, to name a few in a few coming weeks, but. Yeah, in general, I think it's a cracking squad. I think there's some absolute firepower there in the backs. I think the forwards are going to be looking quite strong. And it's great to have, like I said, Teddy Williams, who was expecting that. I don't think any of us were. Rhys Davis, great to have him in. Dav Jenkins as well. Christ Jinduna. Pat Chilson as well. Owen Williams.
Can I just say Teddy Williams is not in the squad, Carwyn?
Yes, he is.
Is he? Where is he? I can't see. Oh, sorry, you're right. Yeah. Beg your pardon. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, Twitter would have had you there,
Cut
Jamie.
that out. Cut that out.
No, Lee, you have to leave that in. I'm sorry.
No, cut it out, please. Sorry,
Jamie got
mistake.
something wrong.
Doesn't happen often, I know. Sorry, do apologise.
Williams both adapt to playing to 10, 12 and 15. So you can see why they're in. Obviously, Owen Williams has been running the game lovely for the Ospreys. Halfpenny's back. Who else we got? But I said the big thing, like I said, like we've mentioned earlier, was Leon Brown and Dylan. What has happened there?
Let's talk about props and front row then, because you know we've been saying for a long time tight end is the weakest area in Welsh rugby at the minute. Front row isn't exactly, you know, we're not brimming with massive amounts of talent. So what do we? I mean, Wyn Jones came on for Scarlets, had half a game.
You said he looked like a pork pie.
Yeah, but he didn't. I said this last week. I said, do you put him back in? And my feeling was no, to be honest. I know he's a class player, but half a game against a second-rate team and you're back into the Welsh squad, that doesn't feel right.
Well, that's it. That's why I think, Gatland knows his players as well. He knows the type, which is why I think Aaron Wainwright's back in there as well as Wyn Jones. But I'm still, I can't fathom why Nicky Smith is not in that squad. I really can't. He has been the form prop in Wales.
But then we got Leon Brown and Dylan Lewis,
who haven't been seen since. Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Well, that's what I was going to mention about the squad. So normally, when you look at a squad, there's always a name that jumps out to you, isn't it? A selection. Go, oh right, okay. I couldn't believe that Leon Brown's in there. Because, we've had the Dragons stress into us for months that Leon Brown, they're not going to rush him back. He's not fit. They want to bring him back when he's ready. And all of a sudden, he's in the Wales squad. And it's like, oh, right, okay. I mean, that was the one name I really did not expect to see in that Wales squad, was Leon Brown. But when you look at the others who are unlucky to miss out, I mean, you talk about Nicky Smith there. For some reason, his face doesn't fit with Wales, does it? And I really don't know why. He's a fantastic scrummager. I don't think he could have done any more. We've seen how good he's been.
Not just scrummaging, but around the park as well.
Exactly. But for some reason, his face does not fit with Wales at the minute. And it's baffling, isn't it? Let's be honest. All the others unlucky to miss out. I think that the Costello is pretty unlucky. Dane Blacker has been the best 9 in Wales, I think. He doesn't get looking, but you talk about Morgan Morris there as well, and I know a lot of Ospreys fans are really angry about that. Well, what about Morgan Morris? I didn't include him in my Wales squad because I had a feeling he'd miss out. And I did say, and you can go back and listen to the previous pods, don't be surprised if Aaron Wainwright gets selected. I did say that. I called it. Why? Because he's a Gatland favourite. And I think why he's got the edge over Morgan Morris is because of his versatility. The fact that he can play blindside, open side, and at number 8. And I think that's why he's been brought in. From a Dragons point of view, 4 players, that's more than what I thought. And, Bradley Roberts in there. I'm really pleased about that.
Ben Carter not being in a bit of a shock?
He's still injured.
No, not really. No, he played last week. He came off. He came off the bench. Yeah, so he is back, but maybe it was just a bit too soon. I don't know, but those are the standout players for me.
For me, So as a blindside number 8, we don't have an out-and-out blindside in that squad. You got Wainwright, who plays 8 and blindside. You got Shunza, who plays open side, blindside, and second row. You got Tiprick, Raphael, and Morgan, who all play open. And you got Faletau, number 8. Now, what that says to me is when you put that there together with 3 kick-in 9s and 3 kick-in 10s, that tells me what kind of game we're going to play already. We aren't going to be playing, and anything outside of 12 may as well take a pack of sandwiches and a flask, because that ball ain't coming out unless the opposition kick it to us. Yeah. So Hardy, I can't see why Hardy's in there. I said on the pod a couple of weeks ago, if Hardy leaves the Scarlets, I don't think we'd be worse off for it. He's in because he's a kick-in 9. Rhys Webb is the highest percentage kick-in 9 in the URC. And Thomas Williams...
But Webb's accurate. He's very accurate.
He's not. You look at what you've got. You look at how Webb's kick percentage that they recover, and it's quite low. Yeah, the same as Hardy. Hardy doesn't play a kicking game for the Scarlets. That's why he's hardly ever selected. Bigger, when Bigger was playing under Gatland before, was a kicking 10. Patchell is there because he's a kicking 10, and Owen Williams can play expansive, same as Patchell, but they're primarily kicking 10s. So looking at that, I'd say we're going to play quite a tight game, especially with Mason Grady. If we put Mason Grady or Kieran Williams at 12, it's that Jamie Roberts, Warren Ball Mark II. That's what
is that the ploy though? Is that the ploy? Because I think we have got a lethal back line there. You know, will the forward stick up the jumper, rumble forward and then unleash the backs within from the 10-yard onwards?
Going back to Wainwright though, you were talking earlier about blindside. Aaron Wainwright is actually a better blindside he is number 8. And don't forget, it was Wayne Pivac who pushed Wainwright into being a number 8. So the question for me is, what does Juan Gatland see him as? Does he see him as that blindside open side like he was in the beginning for the Dragons? He sort of flitted between the two. Or is he going to use him as number 8 like Wayne Pivac,
And he's always played well for Wales as well. He's never had a bad game.
I'm not surprised he's in there. I know a lot of people will be surprised there, but I'm not. I'm really not.
But it's definitely...
It could have been him or Moriarty. It was a coin toss.
It's definitely 2 7s in the back row, though. I think whichever way, because Shins has been playing 7 more recently, and like I say, Wainwright can play 6, 7, 8. So whichever way we're going in that back row, we're playing two players who could play 7 are playing 6 and 7. So it's a case of who do you put at 6 and who do you put at 7, and then who's your player to come on? Who covers? You've got Shinzer who can play all of the back 5. You've got Wainwright who can play all of the back 3. Do you know what I mean? It throws up some interesting selections. But so my question for you is: do you play Alan Wynne-Jones? Have you seen Gatland's interview and what he said about the older players?
What do you say? I haven't seen it yet.
He said there's quite a few more experienced players in there who will need to manage their time. They won't be playing lots of rugby, but they're there to manage their time and for their influence. So, I'd put Alan Wynne-Jones in that, definitely, particularly with the likes of, say, David Jenkins, Rhys Davis, Teddy Williams, and Adam Beard. I think Adam Beard is probably rock solid at 4, and then 5 probably gets rotated. But yeah, for me, there's a lot of young second rows in there who may not necessarily have the experience of Alan Wynne-Jones, but certainly got the capability of playing better.
Speaking of older players, though, Ken Owens has been named captain. Again, we did discuss that on the pod. I've got no issue with that. I think that's fine. For me, it was always going to be Dan Biggar or Ken Owens, so we know he's going to be starting hooker. I mean, with Alan Wynne-Jones, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Is he going to start? Is he going to be used on the bench as he was doing the autumn? I mean, if you're going on form, you're probably looking at Beard and Rhys Davis, aren't you, to start in the second row? If you're on form.
On the bench then, if Ken's starting.
Dewi Lake. Got to be Dewi Lake.
I think it depends on the type of game he wants to play. Really, because if he's playing a kicking game, then lineouts become really, really important. Really, really important. Because when we're looking at which it quite often happens when you come into, as a coach, when you come into a side and you would just want to kind of nail things down to start with. So you play a tight game, you focus on defence, and you focus on a kick chase. And the purpose of that kick chase is to push the opposition to the outsides of the pitch and drive them into touch, restart from there, sort of thing. So if we're talking about who's the best line-out hooker from Dewi Lake and Bradley Roberts, I'd probably go Dewi Lake. But then if you're talking about who's better around the pitch, I'd put Bradley Roberts ahead of Dewi Lake.
To be honest, I'm expecting Bradley Roberts to be that third choice. The top 2 at the minute are Ken Owens and Dewi Lake. As much as I love Bradley, I don't see him getting much game time in the Six Nations. I think he's there as backup,
And Dewi Lake's a bit of a powerhouse, but he's also a great turnover specialist.
Gatland's going to love it. I think he's up Gatland's street, isn't he?
Absolutely. Can I just confirm, I've just seen 2 squads, 2 versions. Is Lewis Rees-Zammit in that squad?
Yeah. On the WRU page, Louis Rees-Zammit is in there.
Happy days.
But then it's interesting where he figures in the naming, because it's not done alphabetically, and you've got Halfpenny, Zammit, Liam Williams. So is he in as a fullback?
Well, hey, you never know.
Because then on the wing you've got I'd say our number 2 wingers are Dyer and Adams.
Yeah.
With Cuthbert in there again.
I can see Cuthbert being in the first team ahead of Dyer, see. I got a feeling because Gatland really likes Cuthbert, doesn't he? He's that big, strong way. I got a feeling it'll be Cuthbert and Adams on the wing, and either Liam Williams or Halfpenny at fullback.
It's really interesting. It's going to be exciting to see who he names as his first team. There's some tough choices in there. Tough choices.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised that Joe Hawkins has got a call. Because
really,
yeah.
Why are you surprised?
Because defensively, I've seen players just run over the top of him quite comfortably. And I thought, I'm not surprised that Grady is in there because he's a big, heavy lump. But defensively, Joe Hawkins, I've got some real questions about it. Particularly, I mean, I can't see it happening, but Hawkins and Tompkins on the pitch together, that's quite a small centre pairing.
I don't know, Hawkins is 6'4". He's 6'4". He's a lump. Yeah.
Well, so when first game of the season, what's his name? Out injured, Williams, Scarlett's centre, who's out injured. Anyway, he ran through Hawkins about 4 times. Just stand up, bang, straight through. And not even a close to a tackle. So that's my concern over him, is putting him in there.
But he did great against Australia.
He did. He had a good game.
You know.
Yeah.
And he's growing. He's growing in stature. As you know, he played against Leinster. He's just played against Montpellier, and he wasn't found wanting.
Well, there was a couple of times they went round the outside of him, mate.
No, they went round George North for that try.
No, well, yeah, I say George North at outside centre. I still got issues around that, but then there isn't another out and out outside centre that's putting their hand up at the minute. Do you know what I mean? I got no problem with George North going forward. Like, he's straight, he's direct, he's what you want, but defensively. Yeah, I just think he gets found out too many times, and he's found himself in a scramble defence more often than he needs to in defence. But I say, who else do you put there? Certainly from that squad.
Okay, so but apart from like Moriarty, Nicky Smith, and Morgan Morris, and obviously Dane Blacker. Okay, I'll give you 4 players. Who is any other big surprise omissions today? Is there anyone you thought should have been in who hasn't made the cut?
I'd say there's a lot of players who are playing okay. There's nobody playing, massively out of their skin that should be in there, if that makes sense. There's a lot of players that you could toss a coin and go, well, he could be in or he could be in. So it's very much a 50-50 call on a lot of those players. But then I think once you get to international level, some players take to international level better than they do. Like Hardy, if you go on Hardy's club form, he's not an international player, but you put him on an international pitch and he seems to go up another level, particularly with his kicking. Yeah. So, there's stuff like that kind of go. And some players work better in different systems. Aaron Wainwright hasn't had a pack in front of him that's stable and going forward. So, if he's playing in a pack that's going forward as an attacking, running 6 or 8 or whatever, he's a different player compared to when he's with the Dragons. So,
well, I talked about his form. Look, he hasn't set the world on fire since he's returned from his injury for the Dragons. He's been okay, but he hasn't been brilliant or outstanding. But he's always been reliable for Wales, and it goes back to the Hardy thing, as you mentioned. When he plays for Wales, some players are better for their country than they are for their club, aren't they? But I just want to give the number of players from each region in Gatland's squad, because I think this is quite interesting. So there's 14 Ospreys, there's 8 from Cardiff, there's 5 from Scarlets, and there's 4 from the Dragons. And I got to say, I'm a bit surprised there was 4 Dragons. I thought there was only going to be 2 or 3. But 5 Scarlets, Lee. Was that what you was expecting, or more or less? What was your...
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting Blacker to be in ahead of Hardy. And I thought on current form, I'd have put Joe Robertson ahead of Joe Hawkins, but they play different types of games. Joe Roberts is a more expansive, creative 13. So, it's about what I wouldn't have put Wyn Jones in, I'll be honest. It's not, for me, he's just not back to where he was. But I think that says more about the standard of props in Wales and standard of front row in Wales.
Do you also think, left field, like standard in the recent weeks of the opposition each region has played? Obviously we've played each other. Ospreys have played Leicester and Montpellier twice as well, and Leinster. You guys have played the Cheetahs, Pau, obviously the regions, the Zebra League, and who else you had on there, Jane? But I think, like, if he's looking and you're performing against teams right up there, you're really putting yourself more in the shop window.
Well, that's work for Nicky Smith. He destroyed the Leicester scrum.
Well, yeah, that's the omission that's, I think, going to baffle a lot of people, isn't it?
That one for me, Wyn Jones over Nicky Smith. Now, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Now, I like Wyn Jones, a very good player, but the guy has literally just come back. And like I said to you earlier, there is something about Nicky Smith that the Welsh management just go, nope, whether it's been Pivac or Gatland. And I'd love to know what it is. What is it about him that they just don't like?
I know, shocking.
Particularly when we got two props in there that we've barely seen. I know the different sides of the scrum or whatever, but Leon Brown and Dylan Lewis, we've barely seen them all season. Whereas Nicky Smith,
the search party is out. The search party's still looking, mate.
It does baffle me a little that how you can include players that are, Rhys Webb is in, and Rhys Webb went off injured in the Ospreys game. So, I don't see why you put players in there that you're not 100% confident on about they're going to turn up and they're going to play. Do you know what I mean? I know. So Dane Blacker went off as well with a HIA, and didn't, and nobody saw what that hit. There wasn't like a massive head contact or anything. He was literally standing there, and the call came right at HIA, and he never came back on. But we were never told he's failed to pass his HIA, so maybe that's why he isn't in there. But yeah, I just think there's too many players there that are not fully fit. In the front row, and we're going up against an Irish team and a French team that can probably pick 6 front rows. Do you know what I mean? I'd be comfortable.
I'll tell you what I am worried about, and this is more of a Dragons issue more than anything else. So Ross Moriarty, he's missed out in the autumn. He's missed out in the Six Nations, right? He seems out of favour at the moment for Wales, and I think he's been very good, actually, this season. I think he's carried Dragons really well. If he's out of favour, don't forget, his contract is up now. He's out of contract. I've got an awful feeling he's going to leave the Dragons. If he's not in favour with Wales, he's going to go. And don't be surprised if he ends up playing in England or France. It's a big concern of mine now. The fact he's out of favour and he's out of contract. And don't forget, we've lost Will Rowlands. And to lose Ross Moriarty and Will Rowlands would be an absolute disaster for the Dragons. It really would.
Unless Gatland's had a chat with him and said, unless Gatland's had a chat and said, look, Ross, I know what you can do. Keep doing it. World Cup's coming up. This isn't my last selection.
But, I thought he'd be in that squad. I'm not going to. I expected Moriarty to be in there, and now he's not in there. I am a little bit worried from Dragons' point of view. If he's out of favour and out of contract, he's just going to bugger this and earn your money in England and France. That's my concern.
Isn't he only like 3 or 4 caps away from the 60 cap anyway?
I'm not sure exactly. He's not far off, I don't think. Yeah. He's under it, the 60 cap, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it.
I think he's coming up close on it. And for
like
me,
you said with the contracts, I think it's sorry, Lee, I when you mentioned the contracts, I think it's probably the same with Nicky Smith. There's so many contracts up at the end of the season. Will he stay or go? There was rumours of him going to Northampton, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think
so. Moriarty is on 54 caps, according to Wikipedia. So, yeah.
And Ospreys have got, I think I saw the other day, 24 players out of contract at the end of this season. Scarlets, I think we've got about 18 out of contract at the end of this season. So, yeah, but at the same time, I wouldn't be. I think we put too much emphasis on keeping some of the players who we probably could release and allow some of the younger players to come through. And I think that's the way Welsh rugby's got to go over the next couple of years. You know, you look at someone like Rhys Davies, who probably would have been held back and, you know, ease him into the squad sort of a thing, where you've got someone like Aaron Wyn-Jones and Bradley Davis there as your big hefty ball carrying second rows, whereas actually he's been forced into the side and has done very well, you know. So same as, you know, so Joe Roberts at Scarlets, where we got, you know, 4 centres who were all injured, and you bring somebody up early and actually they turn out okay. So I wouldn't be too concerned about losing people, James, because there's going to be a lot of players around out of contract.
Well, I've expected it. Yeah, there's going to be big players moving on, but I am worried about it. And I think it would be a big blow for the Dragons. He is one of our best players. And like I said, to lose Rowlands and Moriarty, I think would be a massive blow for the Dragons. It really would. So, keep an eye on that situation.
So one of the positions that you were saying omissions and what have you earlier, Carr, that just come to my head when we're talking about contracts as well. So outside half, oh, God, you can tell it's middle of the day because my brain has gone. The guy from Bristol.
Callum Sheedy.
Yeah. So Sheedy was all singing, all dancing a couple of seasons ago. Not in the squad now. His contract is up at the end of this season. I'm sure I saw his contract is up at the end of this season. So if he wants to continue playing for Wales, he needs to come home. So, you know, where does he then... Is there space anywhere for him if he comes home?
Well, that depends. Like, say, Owen Williams on a short-term contract. Is it just cover, or will he stay after this season? Could there be a slot there for him? Who knows?
If Sam Davis leaves the Dragons, he's out of contract. I got a feeling he'll leave. I may be wrong, and I just got a feeling Sam Davis will move on. That would open the door for him to come to the Dragons, because you could have him, JJ, and then you got Will Reid. But I would say Cardiff, but then, well, I don't know, because you got Jared Evans there, haven't you? But then looks
that's
like
the other omission
to move on. But then Rhys can move on, so it's a difficult one, to see.
I mean, definitely
he's the squad.
Yeah, he's a quality player, but he's just out of form at the minute.
Hardly out of form, yeah.
So it's one of those ones. Does he take the chance and does he take the pay cut and come back to Wales on the hope of regaining a bit of form and forcing his way into the national reckoning?
Would you come back to Wales at this current state?
Well,
if he wants to play for Wales, he should.
Yeah,
if he wants to play for Wales, if you've got international ambition, you have to.
Yeah. Owen Williams left. Yeah, Owen Williams left to chase the money. He got offered a massive contract with Leicester. Didn't work out for him then. He ended up at Gloucester. That didn't work out for him then. He ended up at Worcester.
Japan,
Did he go to
Japan? He went to Japan as well, yeah.
And so, you know, he was a player that was, I think he was in the Welsh squad, and then he didn't make, he wasn't the Scarlets' number one outside half, you know, because we had Priestland, so he was always going to be behind Priestland. So he left and is now back, but I get the same kind of feeling that there are going to be a lot of players out there that go, actually, do I take the money or do I come and fight for a cap? And I'm not sure how many of them are going to want to make their mark in Wales, and how many of them are just going to go, you know, I'm fine. You know, Louis Reed.
It's interesting with those Bristol players you mentioned, like Callum Sheedy. Remember Ioan Lloyd? You know, the hype and all the fuss around Sheedy, and he was going to be the next 10, Austin Bigger and Ioan Lloyd. Their flames have really died down, haven't they, since then? You know,
Bristol aren't playing well at all either.
No,
they're not. A quick shout out to a Pembroke boy who is now the Wales assistant coach and an ex-Osprey, Johnny Thomas. He's also been on.
They did bring him in, did they?
He's in as assistant coach.
It's been announced today.
Oh, right. Okay. I missed that one. Yeah. Yeah.
So, he is responsible for the contact area, is what they've said on the WRU website. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when he was at Bristol, as so he was scrum and forwards coach at Bristol. He was doing really well, and then he went to Worcester, and it all kind of fell apart from him. So he's been working as scrum and contact advisor at
Ealing Trailfinders.
Yeah. So, I see him on the back pitch every now and again. His nephew's playing for junior teams, so every now and again you're just walking around the back pitch and you're like, oh, JT. But fingers crossed he'll be able to do something. But I still can't see how Humphreys is it. I just don't get it. I just don't understand how Humphreys is still there. Maybe it's a contract thing, and the money to pay him off wasn't there, and his contract finishes after the World Cup, and after the World Cup he might go then. Who knows? But yeah.
Well, look, I think overall, guys, quite an exciting squad. Like I said, firepower, bit of them up front. Really looking forward to the start of the Six Nations now.
Gatland we trust. We always have these debates with Gatland squads, don't we? There's always those selections, but he knows what he's doing. His CV speaks for itself. I'm really looking forward to Six Nations. I think we're in a good position. I'm hopeful. I am very hopeful.
Yeah. Ireland first up. Here we come.
Big one. Huge.
I want to see what kind of game we're playing. I'll be honest.
We're going to play Swarm Ball, isn't it? That's what it's going to be. We know what's going to be.
But Ireland worked it out. France worked it out. England worked it out. Scotland, who's the defence coach now? Steve Tandy. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like people don't know how to work out Warrnambool.
The difference is,
if we're gonna kick the ball, say 3 kicking 9s, 3 kicking 10s. If we're gonna be kicking the ball back to them, that world is a very different place from the last time we played Warrnambool, and you've now got people who will sit back deep and run their arse off at you all game, whereas before it was a very different kind of setup. So that's my concern. If we go back to that kicking game, which from the look of that squad I think we will, that's my concern, that people have worked out how to play and how to defend against that, and it won't be as easy as it was before.
The difference, I think, this time around, we've probably got one of the best back rows in the Northern Hemisphere. If not the best back row available out of the names that are on that sheet.
What we will do, and what I can guarantee we absolutely will do, we'll sing the anthem better than we ever have with Ken there, because Ken will have choir practice at least twice a week before. And if anybody thinks they're getting away with not belting that anthem out before, nah. Ken's having that, so that's the one bit I know will definitely change. So,
yeah, all hail King Ken, right?
King Ken, right? Well, it was nice to see you again, gents. It was it was lovely to have another catch up. So we'll do it again at some point.
Yes, I've got work to do now.
Yeah, me too. That's my lunch over.
Right.
Okay, gents. Have a good one. Speak to you again next week.
All the best.
All the best.
All the best.
Ta-da. Ta-da. Thank you for listening to this week's show. We hope you enjoyed it enough to come back next week and listen again. So please do subscribe, rate and review the pod, as it really helps us on most of the platforms that we appear on. You can keep the conversation going on Twitter and Facebook by searching for us WRAP, W-R-R-A-P, or you can email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. We'll be back next week to do some more of the same. We hope you'll come and enjoy us, and in the meantime, enjoy your rugby.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from, with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere, and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.